Hey guys, this review's more back with a quick tech review. This time it's on a very inexpensive unbranded version of the Switch wireless controllers. Basically, this controller, once it's linked up, will register as a Switch Pro controller, Pro wireless, and that's kind of how it's going to look. It's powered by USB Type-C. It charges very quickly, and so far I'd say the battery life on it's pretty substantial. We've probably put, I want to say, at least 6+ hours onto the controller, and it hasn't died yet, so it's going pretty hard, and it's not been recharged. But this is what it looks like up close. All the buttons do what they're supposed to do. They're all connected properly. They all feel very tight. They don't feel like they're going to fall off or anything. They don't feel like they don't get stuck. You'll notice here, my child has played with them. That's why there's some sticky parts to it, and I didn't bother cleaning it. But everything's rubberized. They need to be rubberized. The joysticks are rubberized, and so are the grips themselves. You can see at the bottom there, and I'll turn it around just a moment. The only flaw, and this is really the only flaw, if you want to connect it directly to your Switch, it won't. It will not connect directly to it. So in theory, what you're seeing here is you pressing the home button, it starts blinking fast, it should jump to player 1. It doesn't do that on its own. So that's probably my biggest gripe with it. You'll need the Joy-Con controllers actually do the job, or another hooked up set of controllers, to go to the settings and hit the controllers button and then go to grip order, and that will then let that connect to it directly. It'll again, it'll register as a Switch Pro controller. But overall, that's the only real gripe I have. It's pretty substantial if you're in a situation where you're constantly undocking, redocking, or possibly taking the Switch image off the screen. For example, I just opened up the Smart Hub on my Samsung TV there, and that basically the internal smart software, and that was enough to bump off the Switch. So that meant that anything that was on the controller got bumped off as well, so I had to reconnect it. So it's that kind of stuff, and it doesn't automatically reconnect. So that's kind of a pretty big flaw depending on your living situation. For me, it's not that big a deal. Once it's connected, it's done being connected for the most part. But if the Switch goes to sleep or anything else, that'll bump it off as well. But you're talking about a price point of $25 versus $80 in some cases. So that's what you kind of get as far as the advantages to it. Overall, I don't think it's that big of a deal breaker. However, I fully recognize for some it probably is, so there is that. The turbo works just fine. You press the turbo button, hold it down, press the button you want to press really, really fast. In this case, A is what I use most of the time. And it'll press the A button super duper fast. If you want to turn it off, you just repeat the process. Or I think you just have to press and hold the turbo button, it blanks it out. Again, the only real flaw to this controller is the fact that it has to continuously be reconnected every time it's used, or the Switch is turned off, or you play a game that's not compatible with it. The motion controls, I can't attest to. I simply can't. That's mainly because I don't have any games that use this motion control. I will say the calibration that's internal in the settings does work, and it does operate, and it will register that the controller itself is calibrated after you assign that controller in the settings. But other than that, I can't really attest to it. I have seen some reviews online saying it works with Breath of the Wild and shooting the arrows, bow and arrow set. I couldn't tell you because I don't have that game, or at least I don't play it. So that's basically my review, guys. It's worth it, barring that connection issue isn't a deal breaker. If that's not a deal breaker, it's totally worth it because it's $25 versus like $80. So you're doing a good job there. So that's my review, guys. If you liked it, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff like this, and have a great day.